Thanks for taking the time to look at these raw interviews. I collected up all the relevant clips that I shot for the Where Did Trees Come From video, so if you haven't seen the video, maybe you want to check it out before or after watching these interviews. I've been seeing a lot of comments lately that say I only put in the dumbest things that I record, and while I don't put in everyone who gets it right, I also don't put in all the dumbest things. I mean, my goal is to give a representative idea for what most people are thinking, and then use that in order to teach the correct science. So my goal is not to make people look stupid, but to represent them accurately. So maybe you can have a look at these interviews and let me know whether you feel I've been fair to them.
Trees start out really small, like a seed, and then they grow huge, as you can see all around the Botanic Gardens. So the question is, where do they get their matter from in order to grow big like that?
Light? Water?
Light and water?
And
other thoughts?
I don't know.
Just light and water, that's all you need to make a tree?
I'm not sure. I think so. You probably know more about that.
Like, what is a tree made of, ultimately?
Wood and leaves.
Wood and leaves? And what's wood made of, do you think? What if I told you it's made of something that you eat every day? The fundamental molecule that makes wood is also something you would eat commonly. Would you take a guess? I mean, would it be, say, proteins, fats, sugars? What do you think?
Protein?
Tree made of protein? Maybe. There's
know.
probably some protein in there. So, I just want to get back to this question of, like, where would a tree get its material? Where does a tree get its raw material to grow? It's obviously growing huge.
That's a very good question. I really never thought about it.
But if you identify, like, what sources of stuff would the tree have?
Like seeds?
Seed obviously is really important. So
Ground?
from the ground? From what else? You're saying water?
Water.
Okay.
And sunlight.
My question is, where do they get that mass to grow big?
Sun.
From the ground? Sun? Water?
Water.
From the ground? From the sun? From the water?
Yeah.
You know what I mean by mass, right? Like matter, stuff. Are they getting matter from the sun?
No, they get a matter from the ground. From the earth.
Just from the soil?
Yeah.
And from the water?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you guys could say it in your own words, because I don't want to interview myself. Okay, so the tree starts really small and grows big. Where does it get that matter from, the stuff that makes it grow big?
It gets it from the water and ground.
Yes, from the water and from the ground.
It doesn't get it anywhere else?
Well, it uses the sun to make matter, but...
Right. Exactly. There's nowhere else that it gets matter from?
Not that I can think of.
I don't know.
What about, does a tree breathe?
Yes, of course, through the things there.
The roots?
I don't know, yeah, through the roots.
What about through the leaves?
Yeah, it's leaves
There
too.
also.
And what does it make? It takes in...
It takes in carbohydrates and makes oxygen.
It takes in carbohydrate?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you know about that?
Yeah, I heard that before. It's long ago in school. It's going like that. It's going in and out.
So what is a tree actually made of?
Wood.
Yeah. Right? A tree is obviously made of wood.
Yeah.
But what is that wood? Like, what makes up wood?
What makes up wood?
It's actually something
Chemicals.
It's actually something you eat every day.
What do I eat every day?
Of course you don't eat wood.
I eat bread and sweets.
Uh-huh. So, a tree
Sweet.
is...
Made of sweets?
Well, it's made of sugar.
Sugar.
A tree is made of sugars, and those sugars are bonded into making that. Where do they get all that mass from? Where do they get that matter from?
The sun. Yeah, the sun and the sun. Water. Photosynthesis. And...
But does the sun actually add mass to the tree? Does the sun actually add weight to the tree?
Not physically, no.
No.
Not physically.
No.
Metaphorically.
Yeah. Gives it the energy to grow.
Gives it energy to grow. Of course, that's
It's the
necessary.
catalyst that starts it off.
Okay, but where are they getting
in
this stuff
producing
from?
The earth, yeah. The soil,
From the soil?
nutrients,
Nutrients.
just like we do.
Nutrients, but we don't eat the soil.
Well, you can if you want.
Yeah. But really, where are they getting the stuff from? Can you tell me where do they get the stuff to grow big? Like these tons, these trees
it's a
weigh
good
tons.
point.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the way they.
Well,
I'm
they're
not
mostly
sure.
full of water, aren't they? That's where the weight's from.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I mean, if you cut a tree down and you dry it out,
Yeah, it loses
you
some
still
weight.
have a fair bit of wood
yeah,
there.
yeah. So a lot of it's water.
A lot of it's water,
Mm.
but there's also some other stuff.
Nutrients,
It's magic.
sunlight, and water.
Well,
That's what we've
let me ask
deduced.
you this: if they're getting it out of the soil, right, and then the tree weighs tons and tons out, like think about the giant redwoods, right?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a big hole around the tree where it's taking out all the soil?
Because does it say gradually that the soil has time to recover?
The soil backfills in. I love it. I love it. Sorry, I feel so bad for interrupting your morning. But okay, so the question I wanted to ask you: here we are in the botanical gardens, and you know, trees start out as just a little seed, and then they grow big, as we can see. So the question is, where do they get all of that mass from?
That's a good question.
Well, presumably from the water and the nutrients from the soil and the sunshine.
The sunshine? Does the sunshine add mass to the tree?
They seem to need to have sunshine.
Well,
to grow.
yes, it wouldn't. They wouldn't grow without it. I don't know whether it adds mass, but they wouldn't grow without it.
Okay, so what do you think? Where is the tree getting the stuff from that it needs to grow big like that?
From the soil, long way down.
Just from the ground?
I don't know. Maybe they get some from the rain as well. Some,
Like some of the water,
yeah.
groundwater, the rain.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we need besides? Obviously, you've mentioned the sunlight,
The oxygen, of course.
the oxygen.
Yeah. I think. Well, actually, trees are a good thing in a city for providing oxygen, aren't they? Or some. Oh, I've forgotten which one they provide now.
Don't they act like plants do? Well, I suppose they are plants, but they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So you know where most of the mass of a tree actually comes from is the carbon dioxide.
Oh, right. Okay.
Where do they get their raw materials to grow that big? Like, where do they get the matter to make the tree?
Well, I guess it's organic, right? So that means it's just it's like anything, but it takes time. So you know, I guess the seeds they grow organically, and they're just like human beings, and they grow. And this takes time, but obviously trees take a lot more time to mature. So I think it's just natural progress.
Okay, but where do we get our mass from?
I guess through fuel sources. So you know, food. Over time, you know,
That's it.
obviously nutrients, so that kind of stuff.
We eat the food. I mean, so I guess my question is like, what is the food for the plants or for the trees? Where are they getting their matter from?
Sunlight, water, and I guess oxygen. That's what I can think of.
Do the trees actually get matter from? I'm just worried about the wind a little bit. Do the trees actually get matter from the sun?
I think it's a combination of things. So you know, the trees wouldn't grow if it only had sunlight, but no water and I guess no oxygen, and it doesn't release. Obviously, trees release I think CO2 as well. So you know, I think you know it's like anything. You know, it's a combination of things that'll contribute to the trees, I guess, maturing.
Okay, so what is a tree eventually made of? Now we look at those trees and we think, what is that stuff? What's in that tree trunk?
Okay, I don't know. I guess,
mainly, what is it?
I guess I don't know, leaves, wood. Actually, that's a good question.
What is wood?
Huh?
What is wood? What makes up that wood stuff?
Trees. So.
But it's actually something that you would eat every day. The molecule that makes up the wood is something you would eat.
Okay.
So what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is that a question to me? Or?
Well, I was saying, what do you think it is?
Huh?
It's something specific, a specific molecule that you would eat every day. Trees are mostly made out of that.
Is it, I don't know, is it wheat or?
Like that. It's sugar.
Oh, sugar, yes.
So like trees are largely just...
Glucose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly,
okay.
big piles of sugar. Where did that mass come from to make a tree?
Nutrients from the ground.
Like what kind of stuff out of the ground? Nutrients.
Yeah.
Water.
Like the dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, just out of the soil. Just out of the soil, really, yeah. And water from that soil.
Okay. Okay. You got any thoughts on this? How does a plant grow? How does it get bigger? Where's it getting that stuff from?
The sun, energy. Yeah.
The sun energy.
Yeah. Oxygen. Well, yeah. Oxygen and carbon dioxide and all of that stuff.
You got any other thoughts on that?
No, that covers it, I think.
Okay. Where do they get all that mass from? To
Where they get it
get so big?
Well, what's that chlorophyll?
There's chlorophyll that makes them...
Photosynthesis, they're using the energy from the sun and the air and they convert it into energy. Exactly how it works, I'm hoping.
But where does the mass come from? Where you know, because obviously when you cut down a tree, it's got a lot of mass. Where does most of that mass come from? Where does most of that weight come from that's in the tree?
From the wood that they've grown.
Yeah. So how do they grow that wood? What are they growing it out of?
Probably based on the water and whatever they can use to convert the energy that they do through their leaves.
So are they converting energy into mass, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like there wasn't stuff, and then there was. Like, where did that stuff come from?
Magic. I don't know. I've never thought about that actually, because they don't really eat anything. Trees.
They don't eat anything?
No.
They don't eat anything?
Water is all they absorb.
That's all they eat?
Yeah.
They don't eat anything else?
No.
That's all they eat? Do they get nutrients out of the soil?
I thought they got nutrients from the sun and from the air. Isn't that how trees do
Nutrients from the sun?
Yeah. Through their leaves. And
I'm sure they're taking in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help? Can I phone a friend?
Yeah. Do you have an opinion on this? Can you tell us? Where do trees get their mass from?
My guess would be water, soil, obviously sun as well.
So they're getting some mass from the sun? You know what I mean? Like they're getting matter stuff.
Yeah, they will convert it onto matter or mass. It's like we do that as well. You know, too much energy in, too much mass. Basically.
So energy weighs something?
No, I think it has to be converted in some kind of way.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you eat something, it has a lot of energy in it, and it's, you know, you use it or you don't use it. If you don't burn off that energy, it's, you know, converted to mass because you gain weight.
That's interesting.
Well, I suppose it originates from groundwater, doesn't it? Water taken in.
I'm sure that's part of it, because you know, trees have a lot of water in them, but they also have, you know, a lot of wood. Like you could dry out the wood. Like, what was the wood before it was making that big tree? Like, where did that matter? Where did that stuff come from? That material?
Well, goodness out of the soil, I suppose.
Comes out of the soil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness.
Goodness.
Is there anything else that you need besides the soil and the water?
I suppose that's all you need, isn't it?
To make wood.
Other than the original seed for that particular tree, I suppose.
The seed and the soil and the water, and that makes this big tree. Cool.
Which nutrients out the ground?
And fluid out the ground again.
What kind of fluid?
Well, water.
Whatever, rain, whatever's there, yeah.
Is that it? Just the...
Well, it's got to have some nutrients in the soil as well, because it won't grow just with water.
No, sometimes you feed it.
It would grow, but it would be a weak plant, wouldn't it?
So it has to be nutrient soil. You couldn't grow it in sand or something.
You could, but it wouldn't be a very strong plant. Or
wouldn't be a nice tree.
It wouldn't be a good tree.
So all you need to make a tree, really, to make that wood product is nutrient soil and water, rainwater.
Well, I suppose we've got to put air into this as well.
Yeah.
There's got to be something out of the,
What is it about the air?
A gas in the air that it needs as well. We all need the...
What do the trees need?
Whatever it is, the oxygen.
Oxygen.
The trees need the oxygen.
Yeah, need the oxygen, don't they?
What do you reckon?
They don't make... No.
They don't need the oxygen.
They don't need oxygen, do they?
What do they need?
They need...
There's another one in there. I remember it in geography. But I've forgotten.
They need something.
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, that's well played. That's well done. Where is that matter? Where is that stuff coming from?
The ground and the air.
What do you mean the air?
Oxygen, carbon dioxide, I mean the stuff we breathe.
Yeah. So how much of a tree is air and how much of it is water and how much of it is soil, roughly?
40% air, 60% from the ground, water and nutrients. guess.
Where do they get the matter? Where do they get that stuff to grow big?
From the sun and the
the nutrients through the root system.
yeah, and the photosynthesis.
And water.
Water?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to list the things that we got.
Yeah, sun.
We need sun.
Yeah. Water.
Soil.
Carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You guys are nailing it. Yeah, fantastic. And where does most of the mass of the tree come from? Like if you cut down a tree, dry it all out.
Yeah.
Where does most of that wood mass come from?
Isn't it some form of carbon? So that would be generally from the atmosphere, I would have thought. And
Yeah, from the carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So like 90 to 95% of a tree is actually air.
Yeah.
Air produced.
What's in
yes,
the air?
yeah.
Yeah. So photosynthesis. Tell me, what is that?
It's when the sunlight is converted into energy and gives it like nutrients or process of.
Okay.
You need chlorophyll. You need the sunlight.
Right. So tell me about it. What happens in photosynthesis?
It's the absorption of carbon dioxide, excretion of oxygen, I believe. Is it?
Yeah.
And what is the tree making?
Yeah.
Oh, it's making its
energy.
Its form.
Yeah.
It's
growing.
It's
Which is
actual
what?
growing. It's growing. It's form. It's
what
wood.
What is wood?
Carbon.
It's making a molecule, which is actually something that we would eat every day.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
Oh, hang on. Isn't it? Oh, I'm trying to think which one that is.
Come on, Phil. You can do it.
No.
The soil, I guess.
Soil, the light.
The water.
Soil and the light. I mean, does the light really add stuff? Does it add matter? Does it add weight?
No, I guess the thing is the sun powers the photosynthesis, which then allows the plant to take the nutrients from the soil and grow its cells and stuff like that.
Okay. You tell me about photosynthesis. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
I thought that was to do with the light in the water.
Light and the water.
Yeah.
Are there
Making
any
the trees.
ingredients that we're missing?
Carbon dioxide for
Right.
a plant.
Right.
I think if I remember my school days were a long time ago, it was water and carbon dioxide, and the photosynthesis provided the energy for the cells to grow.
Mm-hmm. Well, photosynthesis actually makes something. Do you know what it makes? You know the word, it's photo, light, synthesis, making stuff, you know?
It generates oxygen, doesn't it, from
It does.
from the carbon dioxide?
But in a way that's a byproduct, because it just spits out the oxygen.
Is it sugar?
It is sugar.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. This guy said he didn't know anything about trees.
Hey, this is going
and
back
he's nailing it.
This is 40 years in my past, my biology
and it's
class.
still there. Isn't that beautiful? 40 years ago and you haven't thought about it since.
No.
And right when you need it, there it is. Well, fantastic. So the question is, where do they get all of that matter?
Get it from the rain and the sun, presumably. And
are they getting matter from the sun?
They're getting warmth. Whether that helps them grow, does it?
It does. It really
should
does.
do.
It does. It does help them
Yes.
grow. But I'm thinking about where do they get their stuff from? You know, their matter.
Stuff in the ground.
Yeah.
What I suppose some grow on arid ground and some grow on wet ground. So. That
But they're getting something out the ground.
They are. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so let's see if we can identify the sources of when a tree has, you know, it has a mass of many tons. Those tons
Yes.
are coming from
the atmosphere. They're getting carbon dioxide and they're pushing out oxygen, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much of a tree is made up of, say, carbon dioxide of
That
air?
I don't know.
If you were to take a stab at it.
Oh, quite a lot. I
Yeah.
think 80%.
Where does it get the matter from? Where does it get that stuff to grow huge?
Well, it gets it from the air and probably also from the soil, yes.
What stuff from the air?
CO2 and water, probably also from the air and also from the soil, yes. And some minerals and some other stuff that is probably required to grow.
Sure, okay. And what does it turn the CO2 into?
Ultimately into a kind of a sugar.
Fantastic. You were like the first person I met who answers these questions correctly. This is brilliant. Are you a scientist?
We are all medical doctors.